All right, my poetry people. Let me move this down into the proper location. Boop. Bada bing. Now, this week we're talking about probably the most popular tool in poetry today. And really, it's been around for like thousands of years. In fact, the oldest poetry that we have really used alliteration and assonance to make it unique and distinctive. And it's the way that, like, when we talk about epic literature, we talk about like the Iliad and the Odyssey, when we talk about that in class in social studies. What made poets back then really skilled was, one, they could memorize ridiculous amounts of like verse, and two, they could recite it using these tools of alliteration and assonance to really bring it to life. So, what is it? That's probably the first thing. Well, as usual, you got your focus lesson, guided practice, and independent work. Focus lesson, you can take a look. I'll run through it quickly. Alliteration is really just the repeated consonant sound. My mind makes marvelous moves, masses marvel at moves, many mock what I have mastered. That's from Alphabet Aerobics by Black Alicious. Now, in this case, the M's are all at the beginning of the word, but that is not always the case. Sometimes it's in the middle of the word, and that kind of spices it up a little bit. Alphabet Aerobics is supposed to be a piece where it's like really obvious what the artist is trying to do. And assonance is a repeated vowel sound, so it also could be a diphthong, which is like two sounds put together. So, like the am sound in this. So, I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them. Sam, I am would be assonance because it has that A and the AM sound. But consonants don't usually hang out on their own. They usually have vowels don't usually hang out on their own. They usually have a consonant to go with them. So that's what the diphthong thing is. And while assonance is technically a different thing, people usually just use the word alliteration to cover both types. So that's usually the way people talk about it, but technically they are different. And again, remember, it's all about the sound. All right. It's not necessarily about the letters in the line. It's all about what you hear. Okay. So make sure you're paying attention to that when you're working today. And then, as usual, I just got two examples for your guided practice to take a look at. See if you can identify the sounds. So this is a more classic piece by Thomas Hardy, A Whispering Garden. See if you can identify the repeated vowel and consonant sound. And it's usually something that is pretty obvious. Like, it's not going to be like, oh, there's an S here and there's an S here, therefore it's got to be like pretty darn close to each other, like next to or one word away. Sometimes maybe you can make an argument that it's in the next line, depending on the type of poetry you're looking at. But this is just to mess around with. And P's and Q's by Mick Jenkins. This is just an excerpt. I had to work pretty hard to find one that didn't have any inappropriate words in it. But I think it's a great example. I've been on my P's and Q's. Can you see I do not play? And I'm packing full of quotes. Like, you'll see what he's doing as you go through this. And it's pretty creative. And again, it's one of those places, especially in contemporary music, especially in the genre of rap, where you see the real skill of the artist come out. Like, them being able to manipulate sounds in order to get what they want across to the listener. So for your independent work, I just want you to give it a shot. Now, that doesn't mean you're writing lyrics, although you can if you want. Like, I've had some kids when I teach this, like, they're like, oh, I got some lyrics I want to, include. And they put their own lyrics in and see what they come up with. So it's pretty fun to see that. So you're welcome to if you want. But basically, I just want you to either write an original piece or use a previous piece that you already have and like either add alliteration and assonance to it. You should just give me like 3 examples of it to show me that you can do it. And just a quick example again. Out the window sat the owl. So you got that. It's okay. It's an okay assonance example. It's not the best on the planet. But yeah, so I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Let me see some mad bars. Now I just got to figure out how to turn this thing off.